Test. Here we go. Are we recording? We're recording.
What up, Internet? J.O. here from Barley Hops and Tabletops, and I am so excited because today we're going to dive into this new build. I've seen nobody comment on this on the internet. I don't think anybody's using it. We have used it like twice, and I want people to start using this with the Blessed Fist and let us know if this is as amazing as we think it is or if we're off our rockers. Either way, it involves using this card here, Frost Eruption, and the bottom here is so important. This heal, and then you get this bless. And that bless is really what we're going to exploit, and we're going to try and get like a bunch of these cards into our deck. Probably not that many, but we will be able to get 3 or 4 into our deck, and that is so important to this build. And the idea is that you can turn a tank healer into a damage dealer. Let's dive in. Alright, so let's look at the data here. So an average character gets 13.5 attacks a scenario. We are going to add 3 blesses. So with our base 2-time modifier and our 3 blesses, that gets us to 4 2-times. Total modifier cards goes up to 23 then. There is some builds in here that can get more blesses in. That's going to be a decision for you, and you'll see that in the gameplay video if you want to add more. But right now we're just going to use 3 in the regular one. 17% chance of getting a 2-time. That's slightly above rolling a die. If you roll a d6 and you got a 6, you just a little below that, but that's the best way to think of this. 1 in every 6 is roughly what you're going to get. That means 2.3, so it's going to be 2 to 3 blesses a scenario, and as you get more attacks and you get multi-attacks in there, this can increase this number. Additionally, as you get better perks, especially rolling ones that reduce your deck, this is going to make this even more likely. Extra damage is roughly 3.3 based on his base cards at level 1. So if you multiply this out by the amount of expected value, that's 8, almost 8 extra damage. Now, that doesn't sound like a ton. However, you can see compared to normal damage here, that's roughly 31% extra damage. And where this gets powerful is not at level 1. This is powerful at level 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, where you can think of those more powerful cards and with the same build doing like crazy amount of damage because you just have more powerful cards, and when you draw that bless, they're going to do more damage. So level 1 average 2.4. Our Fist has been slightly below that. I think anybody that's played Fist has known that he's not exactly a damage dealer. He's more of a tank healer, but he does have some unique abilities, and he also has some crowd control in there. With Blessed Fist, in one test, this has gone up to 2.88. We recently also did a second test, and this is the one you're going to see in the gameplay video. That has gone up to 3.0 damage per round. That has put him way above a level 1 character, and we haven't tweaked anything else. So there's a lot of evidence to support that this is a really strong build if you want to be a damage dealer with the Blessed Fist. All right, let's go dive into the gameplay. All right, round 1, here we go. So a couple of items you're going to need. You're either going to need an energy potion or an infused potion. If you get the energy potion, you want to use it in this round. The infusion potion you can use next round, which I'm going to do here. You also want some tanky items because you're going to take some heat. You're also a tanky build kind of character anyways, so you really want to get some shields out there. That's going to help a lot to keep you alive, even though you're going to have a lot of heals. First thing you're going to want to do is play your one with the mountain. You're going to be going slow in round 1. If you take some damage like we did here from that skeleton, don't be afraid. You're going to take damage, that's okay. You also want to combo that with Encased Punch. I like the bottom of Encased Punch specifically here because of the 4 move with the jump. And you want to put yourself out there into a spot where you're going to take some heat because you're not going to move for a bunch of rounds. So that's really important if you want to do top row actions to be in a spot where you can use them. You can buy back Encased Punch, so don't worry about losing it there. And then you should be good to go. As you can see here, we moved out into the middle. We're taking some heat from the frozen corpse and the skeleton. That's okay. We're going to use our shields to block that. And like I said, don't worry about taking some damage. I'm already down to 7 damage, but you're going to be doing a lot of heals with this build in the beginning. We're using Cold Boulder, so we're going pretty slow there. We're combining it with Frost Eruption. You can pick either initiative, the 61 or the 70. We went with the 61, but I don't think either one's going to really give you a benefit. What I really like here is these 2 cards just work great together. You can throw your frozen tile out there and attack 2 targets, which is exactly what we're doing right here. And then, because you used an energy potion or because we're using an infused potion, the bottom of Frost Eruption, we can get our first bless in the deck, which is great. We'll get a heal 2 also. And you can see between that and the regenerate, we're already back up to full health. And then we're going to buy back Frost Eruption. Very important for the 2 damage.
and that's going to move us into round 3 here. We did take some heat from the frozen corpse, so no big deal there. We're at 5 health to start round 3. That sounds like something that might scare you, but it kind of works out fine. I would be more worried when you get down to like 1 or 2 health. We're going quick with Fury of the Mountain. We're going to be using the bottom, and we're going to use Frost Eruption. We like Fury of the Mountain here. Ooh, look at that. Got a bless right off the bat. So the first bless we got in, good draw. So that kills the frozen corpse, which is great using the Frost Eruption. We're also going to be able to attack the skeleton and generate ice, which is super, super important because we always got to be generating the ice ahead of time so that we can bless ourselves the next turn. Buying back Frost Eruption for the 2 damage, and we used Fury with the Mountain and spent the leaf, so we got Retaliate 2, which actually helped us kill that skeleton, or I think it did damage to the skeleton, didn't kill it. So here we are, round 4. Now I like to go fast with Encase Punch and combo that with Frost Eruption. We can still attack the skeleton with Encase Punch, the top of it. It's also on icy terrain, which makes this a little bit better because of us using for the top of Frost Eruption last round. And then we're going to use the bottom of Frost Eruption to add another bless into the deck with the ice that we generated from the top of Frost Eruption the previous round. And then at the end, which is happening right here, we're going to buy back Frost Eruption, and we generated ice because of Encase Punch's top. Round 5, we're doing the same thing. Now in this scenario, the board was clear, but I'm going to stick with it because I know getting the blesses in early is going to help me out in the long run. So bottom of Frost Eruption again, we're going to heal 2. We're going to get another bless in. We usually use Shard Launch here, and in a lot of scenarios, especially if you're playing with 3 or 4 characters, there are still monsters left. You can get that ranged attack in, and I know it's not a super powerful ranged attack, but you can hit 2 targets at range 3, which means your top action is actually valuable, whereas right now, we're just blowing our top action, nothing there. Moving into round 6, so we're going to play Frost Eruption one more time because Shard Launch gave us ice, which is what we need to get more blesses in there, and then you can kind of use any top you want here. We're just accepting that we're not going to do any damage in this round. The Trapper kind of let those guys out of our range there, so the bottom of Frost Eruption is going to give us the bless, and then the top again we're going to just forego. But now we got a really stacked bless deck. We put 4 of them in. We lost 1 right off the bat, which was fine because it killed the guy, and that's great. But we're ready to go for the rest of the mission, and that's really setting us up. You're in round 6, you're probably doing your first heal, or round 7. Actually, we're in round 7 now. We've been taking the damage every single round to buy back the cards, and look, we're still at 7 health, so we're sitting pretty with the heals there and with the ability to block a few things here and there. So this means going forward you can start to use whatever you want. Now we're going to use some of the lost cards, and that's why we picked the cards in this build. Right here, we move up, we try to attack some skeletons using Piercing Pummel. Love this card, really useful. If you don't want to put 4 blessed in, if you only want to put 3, that does set up this round for you to, or the previous round, for you to use that Frost on something like Piercing Pummel or one of your other cards for damage. Totally fine. Morph it to the way that you think works best. 3 to 4 blesses in the deck is great. It's just a matter of which one you want, or if you want to pursue the idea of getting blesses later, or if you want the damage right up front. And I think that's going to depend on the game state and who you're fighting. So now we're moving into round 8. We just did our first rest, which is great. We're going to start with Encase Punch and kind of go quick here. Going to do some damage. We're working on these Lurker Mind Snippers. Actually, no, they're dead, and we just killed that skeleton using Shard Launch, I believe. Yep, because we wanted to move up further on the board. So at this point, there's nothing on the board, and we haven't really done anything super exciting. 1 bless, but we built our deck, and we're good to go. So round 9 and round 10, pretty boring here. We just kind of move or get ourselves in a position, and then we open the door of the last room where we're going to try and kill all monsters. And this is really where things heat up. And I'm like, cannot even believe how cool this worked out. Although they're right there, right off the bat. So Piercing Pummel, blast 2 times, so that's 6 damage plus Pierce 1, I believe. Might be Pierce 2. Moving into round 12, so that's how we started the board right there. Moving into round 12 now. We're going to move right to the front. This is where we're going to start using some lost cards. So right here, if you look, we're doing a combo of the bottom of Piercing Pummel and we're going to combo that with the top. Now this is 2 losses in a row. We're going to combo that with the top of Ice Blast. Now I know that sounds crazy. Works out in this scenario. We're already like 11 rounds in. We have no problem losing losses. You can last a lot longer than you think here. You can get off 1 or 2 lost cards with this character. You just got to be careful with it, especially if you're taking some damage. So right there we did our attack. You get to move 3 with a jump, attack with advantage, and I think it's attack of 5, and then heal. So we healed ourselves back up to full, and now we're going to use Ice Blast. And we're in the middle of all 4 of those characters, and this is just amazing, right? We attack them at 5 each, get 4 of them off, and you can see here we got a +1, so the first attack was for 6. Second attack going right there was for 6. Third attack is for 10 because of the bless that showed up, which is amazing. So that monster's dead, the Mind Snipper. We'll move that out. And then our fourth and final attack is for 5, which is just amazing. So there you go. We got 3 of the 4 blesses we put in the deck out. They did a lot of damage. We averaged 3.0 damage per round, which is really good for a level 1 character, especially Fist, which is not considered a damage dealer. And we got 2 of them out in the last room. So until next time, beat it, nerds.